Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Before we depart for our next destination, we do want to stop by Betrot's house real quick. Now that we have more than 50 gratitude crystals, he will give us our next reward, which we probably want, because it's actually our next wallet, the giant wallet. The voluminous capacity allows us to store 5,000 rupees in it. So with our wallet enhancements, we now can hold a total of 5,900, which is quite a bit more than the 1,900 we could get before. Vi's also going to pop out, tell us that we can now use our dowsing ability to search for gratitude crystals. Don't know why she tells us here instead of when we got gratitude crystals. I guess because Batro is like the main quest giver for that. But either way, let's go ahead, head back out, turn it to morning, and then we'll be on our way. So I guess we can go ahead and check this out. I didn't even realize that a scene was happening, but we've passed by Pippet's house here at night, and he's kind of chewing out his mom, it seems. So he's saying, how can he not be mad? It's been obvious he's been paying someone rupees to clean the house. Well, we might have taken a little part of that, but gave her that money so she could buy bread. Keep spending money like this, won't have enough money to go to the Night Academy. So, understandably frustrated, I guess, but at the same time, I don't think yelling at your mom is really the best way to do it. So he comes out and notices us standing there. So I didn't hear any of that. There's no way you heard. No? Well, sorry, I kind of did, man. Yep, so he's working the night patrol to earn some money. Not exactly Mr. Perfect either, are you, Mr. Eavesdropper? Well, I guess. So maybe we should. So yeah, Pippet, he's a little hot under the collar right now, I guess. But, you can see his frustration. Like, he's trying to earn money because, I mean, obviously his mom, doesn't have a job anywhere or anything. You never see her outside of the house, in fact. So, making the money to kind of support her a bit, and she's kind of blowing it on people cleaning the house, So, it's understandable why he would be a little angry, but maybe could have handled that a little bit better. But, again, just kind of, oh, we're going to rob this guy of a night of sleep again. Awesome. So, feels so bad for this guy. But, so that kind of, because Pippet is always the one going around, if you catch him at night during his patrol, he'll talk about, just doing it because of the, because of the honor and because he wants to protect the townspeople and everything. But, just goes to show that he's got some other stuff going on behind that whole facade that he puts up sometimes, so... just learn a little bit more about the humanness of Pippet, I suppose. So, kind of nice to see. Kind of wish he wouldn't yell at his mom, but, well, that's just kind of how things go. Okay, so now we're made all our preparations. We've done all the side quests and stuff, so let's go ahead and jump off of the pier here. And we're going to be making our way back to the Eldin Volcano. Before we actually do that, though, I think there's still one more goddess chest to pick up. Yeah, up here. You can see I saved it at this point because we're going to be heading kind of in that direction anyway. So let's go ahead. We'll place the marker there. I think I got a couple more we can pick up. There we are. And we'll go get that chest. Okay, so we are now hovering over the island. You can see we've already picked up a chest on the upper ledge there, but this time we want to just land in the water, do a belly flop. Oh man, that's gotta hurt. That would hurt so much more than it actually looked like it did. Because when you're falling that hard, falling that fast towards water, it's basically like concrete you're landing on. But, oh well, we're fine. So let's go ahead and open the chest inside. And we can pick up a heart medal. So I guess, well, so much for leaving an empty space in my pouch. But, well, I guess now we'll pick up even more hearts. Because I think we're already carrying one of them. I can't see the pouch underwater. But, so I think we're actually carrying 2 heart medals at this point. That's kind of a cool move. Jump out of the water and go straight to flying. Okay, so now we can continue with the story by heading into the Thunderhead there. And picking up our next song at the Isle of Songs. Now, as we approach the Isle of Songs, we can dive off. Sorry to my my loft wing there for basically driving it straight into the wall, but it'll be fine. Okay, so let's crawl in and repeat this process again. This should be the last time we have to get a song to open up a trial gate, so let's get to it. And of course, we're going to have to go through the whole spiel of the goddess saying you've got one more trial left. we can pretty much tell how it goes. We get one more view of the singing statue that I love so much. Unfortunately, it's under Link this time, so he doesn't get the pleasure. I'm not sure why it pops up in a different spot this time, but oh well, whatever. Alright, so of course the message from the goddess awakened in her memory to the message for us. We know how this goes. So of course, the last sacred flame still eludes us. One more gift, one more trial. Didn't really need her to tell us this, but I guess for consistency's sake. And of course, the final trial awaits us in the Eldin Volcano. I quite like that song, actually. It's probably my favorite of the three, just because it seems more technically difficult. Link's having to do a lot more specific plucking than just kind of, waving his hands back and forth. So that's Din's power, which is, of course, going to let us access the final trial gate, and the singing angel goes back into her little hole there. And, of course, now we head back to Eldin Volcano. So there we go, new song in hand, and we are pretty close, actually, to finishing up this little section of the game. We're on the path towards the final sacred flame to power up our sword, so should be pretty neat. So let's go ahead and head out. Nothing left to do here. And the next stop is, of course, going to be back to the Eldin Volcano. We don't have any side stuff hampering us at this point, so the next stop is going to be our destination. Alright, so our preferred descent area, we don't have many to choose from. We actually didn't cover too big of an area here the first time we were around. However, we want to stop by the Volcano Ascent. So let's drop in here. And this trial gate, like pretty much all the others, is relatively easy to find. You can use dowsing, however, it turns out we are dropping down right next to it. Okay, so let's see. Where's the trial? Where's the trial? Oh, hey, look, I found it. Yeah, it's just right next to the bird statue. It's nice that they do that, but it would be annoying if you didn't know which one it was. Like, you land at the wrong one and you search all over the place, and then, oh, look, it was right next to another one all along. Alright, so let's open up this trial here. And, of course, we're going to have to play our lovely rendition of Din's power. Man, Link was going crazy with the harp there. Alright, so that is of course going to open our way into the third Silent Realm. Hope everyone's ready. And without any further ado, ready our sword and thrust. Okay, so Din's Silent Realm. of course, supposed to test the limits of our power. Again, not sure how it's doing that exactly, but this will let us locate the last flame once we get this gift. So we get to go through the whole process again, discovering that spirit vessel. And she's going to give us a brief overview once again. No questions. Understood. And let's get to it. Okay, so the third Silent Realm. I don't really know if I would consider this one more difficult than the second one. They're probably about equal. But this one can be a little bit more confusing to find your way around because there are actually a couple separate areas. So I can see maybe how you would make the case for this one being the most difficult. But of course, we know what's going to happen, so let's step outside. And we're going to trigger the Guardian's Wrath here. However, we can just run straight ahead into this tunnel, and the first tier isn't going to be too far away. So we hop off, grab this, and there we go. They're off our tail. So doing it in this order kind of puts one of the hardest parts first, which is probably the best way to do it, if you ask me. You'd hate to have to go through the entire trial and then get to this part and mess up. You can see we're going to have to climb up this little slope here. This is one that was guarded by a bunch of bokoblins in the real world, I guess. So what I like to do here is kind of just hang off, because this Watcher patrols really quick. Then once you get up, as soon as you get an opening, grab the stamina fruit and go. And you should be able to make it through without a problem. If you do get caught, it can be rough because there's a Guardian right here. So you may be better off going down there and actually grabbing that tier if you do get caught. It's just, you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. And the good news is here, there's actually plenty of light fruit around, so you should be pretty much like constantly good to go with that. So you'll be able to see the markers above the tiers pretty well. Now we're going to have to make our way down to that one, which can be tricky because of this guy over here who will follow you. So you kind of have to stay close to the left, like as far to the left as you can go. So we'll grab this. And stay pretty much right up against the wall, and if you do that, he won't catch you. If you just make your way down the middle, he will follow you here, and you'll almost be guaranteed to get caught. And getting caught down here is bad, number one, because of that, and number two, the next tier isn't going to be for a little while, so I'll have to do quite a bit of quite a bit of maneuvering around some Guardians. But if you make it, it's not too bad, and that's basically the hardest part over with. Okay, so now we head back out to the main starter area here. And we've got a pretty easy tier to grab right on top of this hill. And then back down. Now, through this tunnel. This is a good tunnel to remember because it serves as a decent junction to get between all the different places. What we're going to do is actually head up into this little burst of air here. And even though we don't have a sailcloth, it still shoots us upward. He still kind of makes the animation like he's holding one, which is kind of funny. And there's usually, wow, I'm actually getting pretty bad luck with dusk relics. I haven't been too many here. Alright, so this area right here is one that we haven't actually been to in the real world for more than just running into this tunnel. This will lead us back down to the big slide. Because this area right here is actually too hot to stand in, you just like immediately burst into flames. So we pretty much just run through here. But there is a tier of light up there you want to grab. And now we can start working on the slide. Now there's quite a bit of waking water along the slide, so do your best to avoid it. It can be a little close sometimes. And what I'm going to do here is make my way down the right side. You can see there is a tier on the left. You're supposed to have to come down this twice. But, let's see, I'm not going to be able to sprint, so we'll just have to slide it. It's not too bad, though. So yeah, you're supposed to have to come down this slide twice, but it is actually possible to grab both of them in one go if you take the right path first. So we make our way up here. This is where one of the key pieces was hidden before. And you can see there's a tier right there. Now this can be kind of a tricky jump to not land in the waking water. Okay, there we go. Then you go up and grab this, and then you can just turn right back around. Try not to hit the water on the way back down. That's kind of a narrow fit, but... And that'll actually grab both of the tiers that are on the slide there in one go. So you don't have to worry about going back up and doing it all over. Alright, so now back out in the main area, and this is pretty much where we're going to stay for a while. If you did not get both of the tiers in one go, this is that tunnel that would connect you back to it, so head back up to the top and do it over again. And of course, the next tier is going to be down here, so drop, make sure not to fall down. Of course, if you land in the lava, it's not really like anything happens, you just get set back up, so... Alright, so now we're going to have to make our way across this bone bridge. So make sure you got some stamina before heading out here. cool. Alright, so on up we go, and we can take this path over here to the right, which will lead us to a tier at the dead end. So we head back, and of course we're going to have to make our way along that other bridge now with the Watcher, which isn't too hard as long as you time it out right. You've got a space to wait here, so there's really no reason to worry about this. Alright, then we want to climb the path up to the left here. And we can drop down. You can see there's going to be another tier kind of on the floating debris out here. So let's hop across. And again, you're really in no danger from the lava. The trial doesn't end if you fall in it or anything. You just get sent back to the last platform you were on. So don't fret too much about that. So now we can start climbing the cliffs over here. And we have this kind of random rope hanging from a tree there, which we're of course going to use, because there's a tier right there. If we do this right... Okay, well, I didn't do it right. There we go. That works pretty well, though. Yeah, see, this is why stopping on the rope is generally a good idea. I just feel that takes too much time sometimes. Okay, so let's continue along this path. We've only got 3 left, and it turns out you can actually see the last 3 from here, so this works out pretty well. And we can drop down this platform. I think there was a piece of heart right here before. Then once we get to this little intersection, we can turn to the left, climb the hill a bit. And there we go. Now the final tier is going to be over there, so we're going to have to drop down through here and crawl through this little tunnel. Then we got this really strange elevated tightrope here. That again, I'm having trouble with the balance. It doesn't matter which way I point it, I don't think. It just randomly decides not to work. Okay, so once we cross the tightrope, we can grab the final tier. And now we're going to have to exit the Silent Realm. The unfortunate way about kind of taking this path is that you're going to have to walk back a little ways to get back to the starter area. So the good news is, though, there's really only one Watcher you have to get by, so it's not like it's too difficult or anything. There we go. Now it's good enough. I guess we could also grab this Dusk Relic while we're here. Just because, like, I haven't seen any so far while we're precariously floating on this rock in the lava. Oh, man, that can't be good. Okay, so now we have to make our way back, and at this point you might be a little bit confused on which way to get back, because there's a lot of these cliffs all over the place. But it's actually relatively simple. We just have to backtrack across both of those bone bridges that we crossed before. The easiest way to get to this one is basically just to continue straight ahead, and it's pretty easy to find. Alright, then we drop down, and here's the first bridge, so make sure to gather your stamina before you try to cross. Alright, so there's bridge number 1. Now we go across this one here. And we're back on solid ground again. Oh, cool. I guess we might as well go ahead and grab this one while we're here, too. Almost went down too far there. Alright, then once you get here, there's this tunnel, and instead of going up the little air burst thing there, you just turn left, and then drop down, and we're back here at the start. So that finishes Den's trial. As you can see, like, it's not really too bad once you kind of know the place a little bit. The second one, I still think it's probably harder to find all of them because it's such a big open area. You know, there's really only a few different tunnels you can go through in this one. So I would say this one's a little easier, but they're probably relatively the same. So the gift that we get for this one is the Fire Shield earrings, so we can stand any heat without a sweat, which is of course going to shield us from bursting into flames in that one room. So it's pretty obvious where we're supposed to be going next. Alright, so she conjectures that our Fire Shield earrings will let us travel safely in hot areas, even though that's exactly what it said it would do. She, of course, recommends continuing our search, and we are free to go. So, yep, back out in Eldin Volcano. That Silent Realm isn't too bad, so we made it through basically without a scratch. And I know we're a little early here, but I've actually got somewhere I need to be. So, I'm going to have to go ahead and call it, since we're at a bird statue here. And next time we will continue our way through the Eldin Volcano in search of the Sacred Flame. So until then, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.